Well, good evening, fellow sinners. Welcome to our little entertainment this evening. Very nice to see you all here despite the elements outside. I can also say we had a power failure up till 6:30 here. And I want you all to be friendly, get together, because this is the atmosphere behind here. We all want to have a ball, and we'd like you to join in and have it with us. We've picked this theme, the 7 deadly sins, and we hope to illustrate the 7 by excerpts from plays, readings, and songs. Now, first of all, let me introduce you tonight to our good friends from the Daventry Folk Club. Introducing on my right, the mighty John Golding. My apologies for the programme. Diane Bates, Rick Sharpe, and Cullen Francis, the Squire of Semilong and Upper Brook Street, I may say. And members of the Community Players, John Ball, Brian Brown, Jenny Cullen, seem to have heard that name somewhere, Eddie Moore, Graham Perry, Paula Roberts, and Sheena Perry. So, for those that have paid their tuppence, you'll see that the first item on the agenda is the subject of pride, the sin of pride. Now, our first item is to illustrate house pride. I'm sure many husbands amongst you here will know of the house-proud woman. So this is an excerpt from Dylan Thomas' marvellous verse play, Under Milkwood, and it's Mrs. Ogmore Pritchard. Now in her iceberg white, holily laundered crinoline nightgown, under virtuous polar sheets, in her spruced and scoured dust-defying bedroom, in trig and trim bay view, a house for paying guests at the top of the town. Mrs. Ogmore Pritchard, widow twice, of Mr. Ogmore, linoleum retired, and Mr. Pritchard, failed bookmaker, who, maddened by besaming, swabbing, and scrubbing, the voice of the vacuum cleaner, and the fume of polish, ironically swallowed disinfectant. She fidgets in her rinsed sleep, wakes in a dream, and nudges in the ribs, dead Mr. Ogmore, dead Mr. Pritchard, ghostly on either side.
Mr. Ogmore, Mr. Pritchard, it is time to inhale your balsam.
Oh, Mrs. Ogmore. Oh, Mrs. Pritchard.
Soon it will be time to get up. Tell me your tasks in order.
I must put my pyjamas in a drawer marked pyjamas.
I must take my cob off, which is good for me.
I must wear my flannel band to ward off sciatica.
I must dress behind the screen and put on my apron.
I must blow my nose.
In the garden, if you please.
In a piece of tissue paper, which I afterwards destroy.
I must take my salts, which are nature's friend.
I must boil the drinking water because of germs.
I must take my herb tea, which is free from tannin.
And have a charcoal biscuit, which is good for me.
I may smoke one type of asthma mixture.
In the woodshed, if you please.
I must dust the parlour and spray the canary.
I must put on rubber gloves and search the peak for fleas.
I must dust the blinds, and then I must raise them.
And before you let the sun in, mind it wipes its shoes.
For the benefit of conforming to the theme, this is a song in which Johnny is supposed to be very proud. Johnny plays the big boy now that he's left his head behind, now that he's grown a different mind, all of his own. Johnny plays the island man, buried his head in the city sand, buried his heart in a future plan, both made of stone. But when he wakes to the morning sting, or looks in deep for words to sing, oh, it's for news that the postman brings, Johnny's alone. He says he's gonna be a star and wave at kids from a big man's car and break away from his friends who are Johnny's home. Johnny plays with the big boys now that he's left his head behind, now that he's grown a different mind, Johnny's alone. But when he wakes to the morning sting, or looks in deep for words to sing, oh, it's the news that the postman brings, Johnny's alone. Johnny plays with the big boys now that he's left his head behind, now that he's grown a different mind, Johnny's alone.
We've put pride in as a sin, but certain forms of pride are not necessarily sinful and shall refer to national pride. So to illustrate this, Graham is going to give us that speech of Henry V by William Shakespeare. Graham.
Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close up the wall with our English dead. In peace there's nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favoured rage, then lend the eye a terrible aspect. Let it pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon. Let the brow o'erwhelm it as fearfully as doth a galled rock o'erhang and jutty its confounded base, swilled with a wild and wasteful ocean. Now set the teeth and stretch the nostril wide, hold hard the breath and bend up every spirit to his full height. On, you noble English, whose blood is fet from fathers of warproof, fathers that like so many Alexanders have in these parts from morn till even fought, and sheathed their swords for lack of argument. Dishonour not your mothers. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. And you, good yeomen, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not. For there is none of you so mean and base that hath not noble lustre in your eyes. I see you stand like a greyhound in the slips, straining upon the start. The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge cry, God for Harry, England and St. George.
This next song is a very modest little song. It comes from Ireland, and it's called There Are Three Lovely Lasses from Banyan, and I am the best of them all. There are three lovely lasses from Banyan, Banyan, Banyan. There are three lovely lasses from Banyan, and I am the best of them all. Yes, I am the best of them all. And me father has said I can marry, I can marry. And me father has said I can marry for the price of the shoes to be mended, and the petticoats to be dyed green, and the petticoats to be dyed green. And next Monday morning I'll meet him, I'll meet him. And next Monday morning I'll meet him, and I shall be dressed like a queen, and I shall be dressed like a queen. There are 3 lovely lasses from Banyan, Banyan, Banyan. There are 3 lovely lasses from Banyan, and I am the best of them all, and I am the best of them all.
Well, there we are. We've had Graham spouting about the English. We've had Di singing about the Irish, so I'm afraid I can't let him get away with this. So, as a companion piece to Graham's, allow me to give you Robert Burns's address by Bruce to his troops at Bannockburn. Scots wha hae wi Wallace bled, Scots whom Bruce has often led, welcome to your gory bed, or to victory. Now is the day and now is the hour, see the front of battle lower, see approach proud Edward's power, chains and slavery. Who shall be a traitorous knave? Who can fill a coward's grave? Who say base as be a slave? Let him turn and flee. Woe for Scotland's king and law, freedom's sword will strongly draw. Freemen stand and freemen fall, let him follow me. By oppression's woes and pains, bind your sons in servile chains. We will drain our dearest veins, but they shall be free. Lay the proud usurpers low, tyrants fall in every foe, liberties in every blow. So let us do or die. Thank you.
Pardon my sitting down for this one, but we folk singers are bone idle a lot, to say the least. Ivich is an instrumental written by a folk singer called Al Stewart. And when I saw him, one of his rare small public appearances, he said that when he wrote the instrumental, he just finished reading a book by Jean-Paul Sartre, in which Ivich is a character, a female nightclub hostess, is Russian refugee. He said the overwhelming sense he got from reading the book was one of a woman who had come over and because of general bad circumstances had fallen, if you like, to becoming a nightclub hostess. Still had an overwhelming sense of personal pride, the hierarchy of original Russian ancestors.
this section on pride, we have an example of self-pride. And this is a scene from Twelfth Night, from Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. In this scene, the proud Malvolio, who is a glorified butler in the house of Olivia, has found a letter which he thinks is in Olivia's hand, telling him to smile, to wear yellow stockings, with cross garters, and generally indicating that the lady rather fancies him. However, this letter has been written by Maria, Olivia's maid, as part of a plot by Sir Toby and Fabian and herself to make Malvolio appear ridiculous and even mad. So now we see the fall that follows pride. Twelfth Night.
How now, Malvolio?
Sweet lady, ho ho.
Smilest thou? I sent for thee upon a sad occasion.
Sad lady, I could be sad. This dust must make some obstruction in the blood, this cross-garter. But what of it? If it please the Iron One, it is all the same with me, as the very true sonnet is, please one, please all.
How dost thou, man? What is the matter with thee?
Not black in my mind, though yellow in my legs. It did come to his hands, and command shall be executed. I think we know that sweet Roman hand.
Wilt thou go to bed, Malvolio?
To bed? Aye, sweetheart, I'll come to thee.
God comfort thee. Why dost thou smile so and kiss thy hands so oft?
How do you, Malvolio?
At your request, yes. Nightingales shall answer doors.
Why appear you with this ridiculous boldness before my lady?
Be not afraid of greatness. Yes, 'twas well writ.
What meanest thou by that, Malvolio?
Some are born great.
Huh?
Some achieve greatness.
What sayest thou?
And some have greatness thrust upon them.
Heaven restore thee.
Remember who commended thy yellow stockings,
Thy yellow stockings?
and wished to see thee cross-gartered.
Cross-gartered?
Go to, thou art made if thou desirest to be so.
Am I maid?
If not, let me see thee a servant still.
Why, this is very midsummer madness. Good Maria, let this fellow be looked to. Where's my cousin Toby? Let some of my people have a special care of him. I would not have him miscarry for the half my dowry.
Which way is he in the name of sanctity? If all the legions of hell be drawn in little, and Legion himself possessed him, yet I'll speak to him.
Here he is. Here he is. How is it with you, sir? How is it with you, man?
Go off, I discard you. Let me enjoy my pride. Go off.
Lo, how hollow the fiend speaks within him. Did not I tell you? My lady prays you to have a care of him.
Ah, does she so?
Oh, go to. Peace. We must deal gently with him. Let me alone. How do you, Malvolio? How is with you? What, man, defy the devil? Consider he's an enemy to mankind.
You know what you say?
Carry his water to the wise man.
Lie you when you speak ill of the devil. How he takes it at heart. Pray God he be not bewitched.
Prithee, hold thy peace. This is not the way. Do you not see you move him? Let me alone with him.
No way but gentleness. Gently, gently. The fiend is rough, and will not be roughly used.
Hi now, my bullcock. How dost thou chuck?
Sir?
I bid thee come with me. What, man? 'Tis not for gravity to play at cherry pit with Satan. Hang him, foul collier.
Get him to say his prayers, good Sir Toby. Get him to pray.
My prayers, minx.
No, I warrant you, he will not hear of godliness.
Go hang yourselves all. You're all shallow things. I'm not of your element. You shall know more of this hereafter.
Now we go on to a sloth and a general, well, how should we put it, non-caringness. So the first one we have in this is a poem by Ogden Nash, the American poet Ogden Nash, and this is called Procrastination. Torpor is tedious, sloth I deplore, torpor I deprecate. Sloth is a bore, sloth is a bore, and torpor is tedious. 50 parts comatose, 50 tragedious. How drear on a planet redundant with woes, that sloth is not slumber, nor torpor repose, that the innocent joy of not getting things done simmers sulkily down to not having fun. You'll smile in the morn, like a bride in her bridalness, at the thought of a day of nothing but idleness. By midday you're slipping, by evening a lunatic, and perusing the newspapers all afternoonitic, and at last onto your pallet you creep. You discover yourself too tired to sleep. Oh, torpor and sloth, torpor and sloth. These are the cooks that unseason the broth. Torpor is harrowing, sloth, it is irksome. Everyone ready? Go out and work some!
Actually, sloth used to be one of my officially listed hobbies. Remember Monday morning last, do you? Possibly not, but Monday morning is the time when I sort of wake up with a mouth like the inside of a bus driver's glove. And Cyril Tawney wrote a little song about Monday morning, which I sometimes sing on Sunday nights, in fact, at Duncow. And it goes something like this. Too soon to be out of me bed, too soon to be back at this bus queue caper, or fumbling for change for me picture paper on a Monday morning. Wrong end of the week for a smile, wrong end of the day for being civil. There's many a saint would be a devil on a Monday morning. Where is the weekend now? Where is the whiskey and beer I tasted? Gone the same way as the pay I wasted on a Monday morning. If only the birds would booze, if only the sun were a party giver, if I could lend somebody else me liver on a Monday morning. My lover, she lies asleep, my lover is warm and her heart is mellow. I trade you the world just to share her pillow on a Monday morning. Too soon to be out of me bed, too soon to be back at this bus queue caper, or fumbling for change for me picture paper on a Monday morning. Monday morning.
Now we have a poem by Robert Service, and this is quite a straight poem. It's about the people who don't quite get there just by not quite trying enough. So it's the men who wouldn't fit in. John, it's all yours.
There's a race of men that don't fit in, race that can't stay still. So they break the hearts of kith and kin as they roam the world at will. They range the field and they rove the flood. They climb the mountain crest. Theirs is the curse of the gypsy blood, and they don't know how to rest. If they just went straight, they might go far. They are strong and brave and true, but they're always tired of things that are, and they want the strange and new. They say, could I find my proper groove, what a deep mark I would make. So they chop and change, and each fresh move is only a fresh mistake. And each begets that he strips and runs with a brilliant, fitful pace. It's the quiet, steady, plodding ones who win the lifelong race. And each forgets that his youth has fled, forgets that his prime is past, till he stands one day with a hope that's dead, in the glare of the truth at last. He has failed, he has missed his chance. He has just done things by half. Life's been a jolly good joke on him, and now is the time to laugh. Aha, he is one of the legions lost. He was never meant to win. He's a rolling stone, just bred in the bone. He's a man that won't fit in.
Somebody said sloth means laziness. Until that point I was a bit lost, I'm afraid. It's a song written by Joni Mitchell, which I imagine you all know. It's called Woodstock. I came upon a child of God. He was walking on down the road, and I asked him, where are you going? And this he told me, I'm going down to Yazga's farm. I'm gonna join in a rock and roll band. I'm gonna camp out on the land and try to set my soul free. We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. So can I walk beside you? I have come here to lose the smog, and I feel to be a cog in something turning. So maybe it's the time of year, or maybe it's the time of man, but I don't know who I am, and life is for learning. We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. By the time we got to Woodstock, we were 500,000 strong, and everywhere were songs of celebration. And I dreamed I saw the bombers riding shotgun in the sky, and they turned to butterflies above our nation. We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden.
Has been having some domestic trouble. I'm sorry, Sheena, no reference to you at all. But he'd like to tell you about it in Flanders and Swans, The Gas Man Cometh. So, well.
'Twas on a Monday morning that the gas man came to call. The gas tap wouldn't turn. I wasn't getting any gas at all. He tore out all the skirting boards to try and find the main, so I had to call a carpenter to put them back again. Oh, it all makes work for the working man to do. 'Twas on a Tuesday morning the carpenter came round. He hammered and he chiselled and he said, "Look what I found. Your joists are full of dry rot, but I'll try to put 'em right." Then he nailed right through a cable and out went all the lights. Oh, it all makes work for the working man to do. 'Twas on a Wednesday morning the electrician came to call. He called me Mr. Derry, which isn't my name at all. He couldn't reach the fuse box without standing on the bin, and his foot went through a window, so I called the glazier in. Oh, it all makes work for the working man to do. It was on a Thursday morning the glazier came along with his blowtorch and his putty and his merry glazier song. He put another pane in. It took no time at all, but I had to get the painter to come and paint the wall. It all makes work for the working man to do. It was on a Friday morning the painter made a start. With undercoats and overcoats he painted every part. He painted every nook and every cranny, but when he'd gone, I'd found, he painted over the gas tap and I couldn't turn it on. On Saturday and Sunday they do no work at all, so it was on a Monday morning the gas man came to call.
It's a song by an American songwriter-singer called Tom Paxton. And the Americans have a much more, should we say, effective railroad system than we have. And as a result of this, and the general size of the country, they have a very large population of hobos, or tramps, or bums, or whatever you prefer to call them. And I don't know why, but I think the American folk singer-songwriter's dream is to just travel around the country singing all the time. It certainly isn't mine. I'd rather stay at home, sleep it off. As a man said on television once in a while I get a terrific urge to go out and do something really energetic, so I'll lie down until it passes. Anyway, this song is about one of these bums. It's called Bottle of Wine. It's got a chorus. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine, when you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home, let me go back and start over. Rambling round this dirty old town, singing for nickels and dimes. Time's getting tough, I ain't got enough to buy a little bottle of wine. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine, when you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home, let me go back and start over. Little old town, older than hell, dark as a coal in the mine. Blankets are thin, I lay there and grin, hugging my bottle of wine. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine, when you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home, let me go back and start over. Pain in my head, bugs in my bed, my pants are so old that they shine. Out on the street, tell the people I meet, won't you buy a little bottle of wine? Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine, when you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home, let me go back and start over. Teacher will teach, the preacher will preach, the miner will dig in the mine. Well, I ride the roads, trusting in God, hugging my bottle of wine. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine, when you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home, let me go back and start over. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine, When you gonna let me get sober? Let me alone, let me go home, let me go back and start over.
Now, as far as sloth and goes, I don't think there's anywhere we find more of it than in government departments or in council offices. So here we have, albeit, a prayer and a hymn for the council and all civil servants. Paula.
O Lord, grant that this day we may come to no decisions, neither run we into any kind of responsibility, but that all our doings may be ordered to establish new departments, for ever and ever. Amen. O thou who seest all things below, grant that thy servants may go slow, that they may study to comply with regulations till they die. Teach us, O Lord, to reverence committees more than common sense, to train our minds to make no plan, and pass the baby when we can. So when the tempter seeks to give us feelings of initiative, or when alone we go too far, chastise us with a circular. Mid war and tumult, fire and storm, give strength, O Lord, to deal out forms. Thus may thy servants ever be, a flock of perfect sheep for thee. Amen.
Now we come on to avarice. And who better to start this than that fabulous character in Dickens's A Christmas Carol, Scrooge. Scrooge, as described by Dickens, Dickens says, "Oh, but Scrooge was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire, secret and self-contained, and solitary as an oyster. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shrivelled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips blue. He was sitting in his office one day when a cheerful young voice rang out.
Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Bah humbug.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle? You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Oh, come now, what right have you to be dismal? What right have you to be morose? You're rich enough.
Bah humbug.
Don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? Merry Christmas. Out on you, Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to the likes of you but a time for paying out bills without money? A time for finding yourself a year older, but not an hour richer.
Oh, Uncle.
Nephew. Keep Christmas in your way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it.
If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. Christmas, bah, humbug.
It's only coincidence that I'm the only one singing in the section of greed. I think. It's a favourite of mine to sing Joni Mitchell songs. It's a song almost about greed.
Leave paradise and they put up a parking lot.
with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go, but you don't know what you've got till it's gone. They paved paradise and they put up a parking lot. Took all the trees and they put them in a trees museum. Charged the people $1.50 just to see them. Don't it always seem to go, that you don't know what you've got till it's gone. They paved paradise and they put up a parking lot. Hey farmer, farmer, put away the DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, but leave me the birds and the bees. Don't it always seem to go, that you don't know what you've got till it's gone. They paved paradise and they put up a parking lot. Late last night I heard the screen door slam, and a big yellow tractor took away my house and my land. Don't it always seem to go, that you don't know what you've got till it's gone. They paved paradise and they put up a parking lot. Paved paradise and they put up a parking lot. They paved paradise and they put up a parking lot. This is a song which just means individual greed. I won't explain too much about it because it's all explained in the last verse. Oh, the morning was a pretty one, and frost was in the air. The sun had made the mountain tops before we made the stairs. We hardly had awakened or stumbled from our sleep when the morning was all over and no profit had been reached. Oh, the afternoon came sliding in unnoticed by the day, which only served to dry our eyes and chase the cold away. The sun threw longer shadows now that fell before our feet, and one by one illuminate the street lamps in the streets. Evening was upon us now before we knew the score. How could the day have gone so fast? Could we have made it more? It's time to go to Betty Bye. It's time to go so soon. And the stars came out to decorate the halo around the moon. So is it hard to recognize the subject of my song? It's not about a day at all, but of your whole life long. The time is running out so fast and bursting your balloons, and the stars come out to decorate the halo around your moon. And the morning was a pretty one.
And in this section we now have another of these fabulous characters that seem to creep up these very, very sort of avaricious characters. And this is Shylock in Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. So in the scene that we're going to do now, I, as Antonio, a rich merchant, am trying to borrow money from Shylock, that mean, tight-old Jewish moneylender. So, Shylock, away you go.
Senor Antonio, many a time and oft in the Rialto you have rated me about my monies and my usances. Still, I have borne it with a patient shrug, for sufferance is the badge of all our tribe. You call me misbeliever, cutthroat, dog, and spit upon my Jewish gabardine, all for the use of which is mine own? Well then, it now appears you need my help. Go to then. You come to me and you say, Shylock, we would have much monies. You say so, you that did vide your room upon my beard, and foot me as you spurn a stranger cur over your threshold. Monies is your suit. What should I say to you? Should I not say, half a dog monies? Is it possible a cur can lend 3,000 ducats? Or shall I bend low in a bondsman's key, with bated breath and whispered humbleness? Say this, fair sir, you spit upon me Wednesday last. You spurn me such a day. Another time you call me dog, and for these courtesies, I'll lend you thus much monies.
Oh, I'm as like to call you thee so again, to spit on thee again, to spurn thee too. If thou wilt lend me this money, lend it not as to thy friends, for when did friendship turn a breed for barren metal of his friend? But lend it rather as to thine enemy, who, if he break, thou mayest with better face exact the penalty.
This kindness will I show. Go with me to a notary, and seal me there your single bond. And in a merry sport, if you repay me not on such a day in such a place, such sum or sums as expressed in the condition, let the forfeit be nominated. For an equal pound of your fair flesh to be cut off and taken from what part of your body pleaseth me.
Now then we come on to gluttony, and in this gluttony we have included food and drink. So I think here we start with that character who appeared in so many schoolboy books, novels, and this is the famous Billy Bunter, Frank Richards. So this is a scene from Billy Bunter at Sea. Eddie.
His lunch basket was filled with innumerable juicy, jammy, sticky things in which his fat heart rejoiced. With nothing to do but loll on the cushions on the boat and consume one sticky, tasty morsel after another, life seemed very good to Bunter. It was not until the wash of a passing steamer caused the boat to rock and roll that one member of the happy party ceased to enjoy life. A jam's tart in transit down a fat neck seemed to stick there. Oh! Oh! Anything the matter, Bunter? What are you hitting me for, you beast? With which he resumed work on the lunchbox, and one jam tart followed another on the downward path. He finished the tarts, but there were cream tarts to follow, and they followed on. He blinked at last into an empty basket. He had done well, remarkably well. So with a slight feeling, he had done too well. His little round eyes had a glassy look behind the big round spectacles. It was becoming obvious that Billy Bunter was in no mood to enjoy a sea voyage. Cakes and buns, toffees and chocolates, jam tarts and cream tarts, were evidently on the worst of terms with each other within his extensive circumference. "I'm enjoying this no end," he yapped. "Catch me being seasick." He broke off as the boat gave a sudden lurch. That did it. Quite a ghastly look came over his fat face. He leaned over the gunwale, and the sounds that followed were sad and sorrowful.
This is an Irish song of praise dedicated to all those in the audience who like a drop of the hard stuff. It's got a chorus, so do sing along if you fancy it. It's called Jug and Punch. As I was sitting in the jug and spoon one fine evening in the month of June, a birdie sang on an ivy bunch, and the song he sang was the Jug of Punch. Tooraloo, 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 tooraloo. A birdie sang on an ivy bunch, and the song he sang was the Jug of Punch. What more diversion can a man desire than to court a girl by a neat neat fire? A curry pip into crack and crunch, iron on the table, a jug of punch. Tooraloo, 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 tooraloo. A curry pip into crack and crunch, iron on the table, a jug of punch. The learned doctor with all his art cannot cure the affliction that's in my heart. Even the cripple forgets his hunch when he's safe outside of the jug of punch. Tooraloo, 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 tooraloo. Even the cripple forgets his hunch when he's safe outside of the jug of punch. And when I'm dead and I'm in me grave, no costly tombstone will I crave. Just lay me down in my native beat, with a jug of punch at me head and feet. Tooraloo, 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 tooraloo. Just lay me down in my native beat, with a jug of punch at my head and feet.
Now then, Graham's been up in the Highlands in the guise of a character written about by Tobias Smollett, and this is A Hunter's Repast.
The following articles formed our morning's repast. 1 kit of boiled eggs, a second full of butter, a third full of cream, an entire cheese made of goat's milk, a large earthenware pot full of honey, the best part of a ham, a cold venison pasty, a bushel of oatmeal made in thin cakes and bannocks with a small wheaten loaf in the middle for the strangers, a large bottle full of whisky, another full of brandy, and a kilderkin of ale. There was a ladle chained to the cream kit with curious wooden beakers to be filled from this reservoir. The spirits were drunk out of a silver quaff and the ale out of horns. Great justice was done to the collation by the guests in general. One of them, in particular, ate above 2 dozen of hard eggs with a proportionable quantity of bread, butter, and honey. nor was one drop of liquor left on the board. Finally, a roll of tobacco was presented by way of a dessert, and every individual took a comfortable quid to prevent the bad effects of the morning air. We had a fine chase over the mountains after a roebuck, which we killed, and I got home in time enough for tea with Mrs. Campbell and our squire.
The sad tale of gluttony comes now from a 19th century broadside ballad. And when you paid your 5 shillings to come in tonight, you probably thought, what you're going to do is come in, sit down in the seats, and that was it. Well, you're not. You're going to sing now. Anyone who doesn't will come up here and sing a solo with me. It's very easy, actually. All you have to do is to sing everything that I sing. And it's called 3 Sailors from Bristol City. There were 3 sailors from Bristol City, and that's the first bit you sing, in fact, after me. And so on, right through the song. Now, if you feel like harmonising, well and good, you know, we can have a euphonious, harmonious, quite tremendous time here. There's loads of you out there, and don't think because the floodlights are on me I can't see you. If you can't sing, mime. Right? There were 3 sailors from Bristol City. There were 3 sailors from Bristol City who stole a boat and went to sea. Who stole a boat and went to sea. Good, that's lovely, keep it up. There was Gorging Jack and Guzzling Jimmy. There was Gorging Jack and Guzzling Jimmy. And there was little boy Billy. And there was little boy Billy. They stole a tin of Captain's biscuits. They stole a tin of Captain's biscuits. And 3 bottles of the finest whiskey, and 3 bottles of the finest whiskey. And when they reached the broad Atlantic, and when they reached the broad Atlantic, all they had left was 1 split pea. All they had left was 1 split pea. Said Gorging Jack to Guzzling Jimmy, said Gorging Jack to Guzzling Jimmy, I'm old and tough, so let's eat tea. I'm old and tough, so let's eat tea. Oh, Billy boy, we're gonna kill and eat ya. Oh, Billy boy, we're gonna kill and eat ya. So undo the top button of your little chemise. Undo the top button of your little chemise. First let me say my catechism. First let me say my catechism. That my poor mother taught to me. That my poor mother taught to me. And when he had reached the 11th commandment, and when he had reached the 11th commandment, yo-ho, he cried, it's land I see. Yo-ho, he cried, it's land I see. It was the British fleet at anchor. It was the British fleet at anchor. With Admiral Nelson, KCB. With Admiral Nelson, KCB. The young Gorging Jack and Guzzling Jimmy. The young Gorging Jack and Guzzling Jimmy. And made an admiral out of little boy Billy. And made an admiral out of little boy Billy. You are lovely. Thanks very much.
Marvellous, it really was. Now, the time where gluttony really comes to its peak is at Christmas time, albeit it is a certain season. So here we have a song by Paddy Roberts, read by Eddie. Welcome back, all you drunken sailors, then, and we're starting the second half with the theme of anger, and John will tell us all about his one. I believe it's your own composition, is that right?
Yes, yes.
It is. There we are.
If any of you have ever been to a folk club, you'll perhaps appreciate that on a number of occasions there's a lot of... That's brilliant. You see that? There's a lot of noise goes on in folk clubs when the main artist isn't singing. And there's a lot of singers who stand up and sing for nothing. And they're really sincere about what they're doing. And these are the people that really keep folk clubs going. But unfortunately, perhaps they're not so good as a guest artist, so people talk. And in particular, the bar, if there's a bar in the same room, the barman isn't that interested in folk music. He's just there to serve beer for an evening. So a lot of noise comes from the bar. And one evening at a club in Northampton, it was a singer's evening, and Rick was singing. And everybody, the bar in particular, was making all sorts of a noise. So I wrote a song in anger called The Walking the Floor Singer's Blues. I've sung my songs to everyone who came to hear me sing, and I've closed my eyes and played the best I could. I just wanted them to listen and appreciate the words, and I needed them to say they understood. But someone kept on talking and opening the door that brought the noise of voices from the street. And the barman got his hand stuck in the hinges on the till and was knocking tops off bottles with his teeth. I've sung my songs for pleasure and rarely for much more, and I couldn't learn a song I didn't feel. I'm appearing here by courtesy of dear big-hearted me, and I'm doing what comes natural for real. But someone keeps on talking and opening that door that has not seen an oil can for weeks. And the barman with his hand stuck in the hinges on the till is washing up the glasses with his feet. I've planned it out how one day I should get across to folks, and I'll hang my heart in the great big hit parade. If I sacrifice sincerity and buy a microphone, then only sing to people when I'm paid. And the feller who keeps talking and opening the door, and the someone at the back who's begun to sneeze, and the barman with his hand free from the hinges on the till, who's decided he'd like last orders, please.
Now then, we have one from, this is a real hard-nosed criminal who's in jail, ready to be hung. So some of you may know another version to this, but we'll keep it mighty clean tonight. So this is the old folk song read by Brian, Sam Hall. A wild, wild man was Sam Hall.
Oh, my name, it is Sam Hall, it is Sam Hall. Yes, my name, it is Sam Hall, Sam Hall. Yes, my name, it is Sam Hall. And I hate you one and all. God damn your eyes. Oh, I killed a man, so they say, so they say. Yes, I killed a man, so they say. I beat him on the head, and I left him there for dead. Yes, I left him there for dead. God damn his eyes! Oh, the parson, he came too, he came too. Yes, the parson, he came too. Yes, the parson, he came too. As he talked, he came too. and he looked so bloody gum as he talked of his kingdom come. God damn his eyes! And the sheriff, he came too. Yes, the sheriff, he came too. He came too with his men all dressed in blue. Lord, they were a bloody crew. God damn their eyes! Now up the rope I go. Yes, up the rope I go. And the bastards down below, they'll say, Sam, we told you so. They'll say, Sam, we told you so. God damn their eyes! I saw my Nelly, all dressed in blue. Yes, I saw my Nelly, all dressed in blue. I saw my Nelly in the crowd, all dressed in blue. Says my Nelly, all dressed in blue, your wandering days are through. Now I know that you'll be true. God damn your eyes! Now in heaven I dwell. Yes, now in heaven I dwell. Yes, now in heaven I dwell. Oh my God, it is a cell! All the women are down in hell! God damn their eyes!
This song which should be sung by a great hearty sailor, so you'll have to use your imaginations. It's called Sally Free and Easy. Sally free and easy, that should be her name. Sally free and easy, that
into the battle of the sexes. And I think in this case, Sheena would appear to have joined the Women's Lib movement because she's giving us I Hate Men, which is the lyrics of a song from Kiss Me Kate by Cole Porter. So, Sheena, I hate men.
I hate men. I can't abide them even now and then. Though never marry one of them, I'd rest a virgin rather. For husbands are a boring lot and only give you bother. Of course, I'm awfully glad that mother had to marry father. But I hate men. Of all the types I've ever met within our democracy, I hate the most the athlete with his manner bold and brassy. He may have hair upon his chest, but sister, so had lassie. Oh, I hate men. I hate men. Their worth upon this earth I dinna ken. Avoid the travelling salesman, though a tempting Tom he may be. From China he'll bring you jade and perfumes from Arabia. But don't forget 'tis he who'll have the fun and thee the baby. Oh, I hate men. If thou shouldst wed a businessman, be wary, oh, be wary. He'll tell you he's detained in town on business necessary. His business is the business which he gives his secretary. Oh, I hate men. I hate men. Though roosters they, I will not play the hen. If you espouse an older man, through girlish optimism, he'll always stay at home at night and make no criticism. Though you may call it love, the doctors call it rheumatism. Oh, I hate men. From all I've read, alone in bed, from A to Z about them, since love is blind, then from the mind all womankind should rout them. But ladies, you must answer too. What would we do without them? Still, I hate men.
I always get a very dry throat before singing this next song. It's a song from the Northeast by Johnny Handel, whom we've had at the Dun Cow at Daventry. Plug. And till 10:30. Thank you very much. And this song is a rather angry song, and there is a chorus to it. If you feel like joining in, then please do. I'll sing the chorus first, so if you want to join in, there's a chance to listen to the words. Dust in the air, all through the mine, it's concrete on your lungs, and you're old before your time. You may take on board a ship, aye, and sail to foreign lands. You may work upon the land and run the good soil through your hands. Even in an office you can breathe the air so fine, but you're coughing and you're spitting dust when you're walking down a mine. Dust in the air, all through the mine, it's concrete on your lungs and you're old before your time. The coal seam rich and gleaming, aye, it's far beneath the soil. Black gold is what they calls it, and it's won with sweat and toil. And when your shift is over and you take your well-earned rest, you'll never get to spend black gold when it's lying on your chest. Dust in the air, all through the mine, it's concrete on your lungs, and you're old before your time. Explosions blast the coal, the powder dust is in the air. Shearers and trepanners with the picks to do their share. Conveyor belts and fans help to pass it along the line, and you can't escape the dust when you're walking down a mine. Dust in the air, all through the mine, it's concrete on your lungs, and you're old before your time. In the tailgates and them mother gates and on the long wall face, they use masks and sprays and hoses to keep it in its place. Coal must be won, the race is on, the picks and shovels fly. But you also have to breathe the air that's ganning round and by. Dust in the air, all through the mine. It's concrete on your lungs, boys, and you're old before your time.
Now we're on to the next sin, which is envy or covetousness. The best definition we can give is from Exodus, which says, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbour's." However, there's a little addendum to this, an anonymous little 4-line verse here, which says, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife, nor the ox her husband bought her." But thank the Lord you're not forbidden to covet your neighbour's daughter. So I think to lead off we've got John, is it? Yes.
If you look at your little pieces of paper, you'll see that at this point I'm supposed to sing a song called River, which was written by Joni Mitchell. I chose that song because there was nothing else I could think of that implied envy. But since then I've found another song, which is a song called Sailor James. It's a song about, I think I'm just about to call him a friend of mine who's a sailor. I just envy his way of living. He seems to have everything he wants to, though he doesn't want very much.
Sailor, sail away, steal another dream today. There's lots of others sailing on your sea. Half of what you leave behind is out of sight, so out of mind. Maybe that's the way I choose to be. He's here today but soon be gone. He's got to keep on sailing on. He's traveled from those far and distant hames. Once more around this crazy world, he's searching for those dreams he can wish upon, sailing with the waves of Sailor James. Sailor, sail away, steal another dream today. There's lots of others sailing on your sea. Half of what you leave behind is out of sight, so out of mind. Maybe that's the way I choose to be. You talked about your fancy cars, and that night you slept beneath the stars, and you played the part-time dropout as you please. I've seen the film and read the book, and I've shared it with the time it took, and I've brought your way of thinking to its knees. Sailor, sail away, steal another dream today. There's lots of others sailing on your sea. Half of what you leave behind is out of sight, so out of mind, and maybe that's the way I choose to be.
Now, a little poem by Ogden Nash again. This is a Smug to be Snug, or Snug to be Smug, or you take it whichever way you like it, but it's about the little wishes that one has, little daydreams, and how they just crash when you think in detail about them. Jenny?
Well, sometimes I wish I had the wings of an angel, because then I could fly through the air with the greatest of ease. And if I wanted to be somewhere else, I could get there without spending any money on taxis or railroad tickets or fees. Yes, I could fly to Paris and do as a Parisian, or fly to Rome and do as a Roman. But on the other hand, wings would necessitate me sleeping on my abdomen. So I don't really wish I had the wings of an angel. But sometimes I wish I had the courage of a lion. Then I could look life in the eye with a will of iron. And to the goose or the burglar or even a butler, I wouldn't hesitate to say boo. But on the other hand, I might encounter a goose or a burglar or a butler who had the courage of a lion too. So I don't really wish I had the courage of a lion. But sometimes I wish I had the innocence of a lamb. Then I would never wake up crying, "Fie on me, what an innocent sinner I am." But on the other hand, innocence is a security on which it is hard to borrow, because all it means is either you get eaten by a wolf today, or else the shepherd saves you from the wolf so he can sell you to the butcher tomorrow. So I don't really wish I had the innocence of a lamb. I guess I'll stay just as I am.
Song of a young girl who's been deserted by her lover and left with the bun in the basket, so to speak. I wish, but it's all in vain. I wish I was a maid again, I never shall be, till apples grow on an orange tree. I wish my baby it was born, and smiling on his daddy's knee, and me poor girl was dead and gone, with the long green grass growing over me. Oh, once I wore my apron low, he followed me through frost and snow, but now my apron is to my knee, he cares no more what becomes of me. Oh grief, I'll tell you why, that girl has more gold than I, more gold than I, and beauty and fame, but she will come like me again.
These days, in the age of the affluent society, so much of this sin is the seeking after what your neighbour's got. So here's a prime example of this called Sounding Brass by Flanders and Swan. And Eddie and Brian are going to do this. And any resemblance between two famous brothers of yesteryear is purely coincidental. So we say the Eastern Brothers then.
Hello, Brian.
Hello there, Eddie. Society frowns on blowing one's own trumpet. Ta-ta-ta-ting. But we have found a game that merits no rebuke.
If someone's got a tub, we're going to thump it. It's much more fun than playing polo with the Duke.
The object is to gung-a-ding your neighbour. I'm a better man than you, the acid test.
So man the good ship one-up. Let's do the social ton-up.
And bang our status symbols with the rest. Playing on the status symbols, laying out the ready cash.
Bigger, better, never smarter. Hear the status symbols clash.
My phone number's X-Directory, should you wish to make a call.
Mine is much more exclusive. I haven't got a phone at all.
I have a colour television, though it can't receive a thing.
I've got a midget tape recorder, hidden in my signet ring.
Hidden in his signet ring? I've a laundress who comes in daily to my flat in Marble Arch.
All my laundry's flown to Cairo.
Flown to Cairo?
Where they don't use so much starch.
My car's registration 11 VIP.
All my garage doors fly open when I murmur sesame.
My car horn goes ha-hee, ha-ha.
Your car horn goes ha 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 ha.
I've just brought a mini super.
Oh? What's a mini super?
Well, I keep it in my boot.
Hell has just been taken over by a friend of Charlie Claus.
We've acquired a private furnace. Bigger, better, far hotter than yours!
This is another Tom Paxton song. Very quiet song this time. It's about a young man, should we say, a young fool. For some strange reason, he's fallen madly in love with a girl. There's only the usual problem where she doesn't love him. She goes around instead with all his other blokes who've got V12 E-types and V8 Mustangs and yachts and white tuxedos and other sorts of desirable things. And if he had his way, he wouldn't give her any of these. Wish I had a troubadour sitting at my knee, playing stately rhythms of the ancient balladry. If I had a troubadour, I'd call him to your side. He would sing for you, he would sing for you until you smile. Wish I had a castle clown with bells upon his hat, doing tricks and somersaults. You'd have to laugh at that. If I had a castle clown, I'd call him to your side. He'd do tricks for you, he'd do tricks for you until you smile. Wish I had a wind, I'd bring it by. A gentle western wind to dry your eye. A southern wind to keep you from your crime. I'm still trying. Wish I had a royal ballet to summon at my will, dancing in the candlelight, some lovely old quadrille. If I had a royal ballet, I'd signal with a nod. They would dance for you, they would dance for you, until you smile. Wish I had a wind, I'd bring it by. A gentle western wind to dry your eye. A southern wind to keep you from your crime. I'm still trying. Wish I had a troubadour sitting at my knee, playing stately rhythms of the ancient balladry. If I had a troubadour, I'd signal with my hand. He would dance for you, he would sing for you, he would sing for you until you smile.
Now we come on to the last one. This is, I suppose, the one you've all been waiting for. The trouble is, what is lust? I mean, is one definition one has heard is the chasing after sex. In that respect, may I tell a little story just for 1 minute? This is about an old sheik of 80 years and 10 who lived out in the desert. And 1 mile across the desert, he kept his harem of his 100 wives. So every night, the young captain of the guard, a young fellow of 23, was sent across, galloping across the desert, this mile to the harem. Bring wife 23, you see? Next night, bring wife 78. And suddenly, one day, the young captain of the guard dropped down dead. The old sheik was as healthy as ever. And the moral of this story is, it's not sex that kills you, but the chasing after it. It's all yours now.
How do you follow that? Here's a song from Ireland. It's a warning to all you young ladies that might be tempted, so to speak. It's called Black Waterside.
One morning fair, I took the air down by Black Waterside. 'Twas in gazing all around me, the Irish lad I spied, all through the dark part of the night we lay in sport and play, till this young man arose and gathered his clothes, saying, "Fare thee well today." That's not the promise that you gave to me when first you lay on my breast. You could make me believe with your lying tongue that the sun rose in the west. Go home to the seas run dry before he'll marry I. One morning fair I took the air down by Blackwater side. 'Twas in gazing all around me the Irish lad I spied.
And now a little poem, an anonymous one, dedicated to all the dirty old men in the audience. It's entitled The Castaway. Sheena.
He grabbed me around my slender neck. I could not shout or scream. He carried me into his room where we could not be seen. He tore away my flimsy wrap and gazed upon my form. I was so cold and still and damp, while he was wet and warm. His feverish mouth he pressed to mine. I let him have his way. He drained me of my very self. I could not him say nay. He made me what I am, alas. That's why you find me here. A broken vessel, broken glass, that once held bottled beer.
The last one for me tonight. This song is really, as well as lust. Lust is necessarily sex, it's a sort of longing as well. And this is about a young girl's ambition, or longing, whichever way you like it, which drives her to her eventual fate, which is all tied up with lust. It's called Old Compton Street Blues, and the references to various parts of London are really references to the nature of those various parts of London. Oh, your pictures, they don't really do you justice, little girl. Oh, you're careful not to let the camera touch your private home. And there's just a hint of sadness in your smile through the door as you slip your dress off slowly for the sailor or the clock. And it could have been so different, and at times you feel bad. Oh, you really did have something that the others never had. And the circle turns and turns and turns so fast, little girl. Well, you must have been just 15 when you made your mind up first that you'd make it in the movies, and you couldn't lose the first. And it took you to the attic where the agent king holds court, and his courtesans are fully paid up losers of the soul. And he looks at you and tells you that you just might get the part, but you don't get things for nothing, and he doesn't want your heart. And the circle turns and turns and turns so Well, you made it to the silver screen, and yet you're not a star. And advertising courses didn't get you too far. And money has its favorites, and yours went back to them. So you modelled in a studio in Green Street for the rent. And there you met Antonio, your lover from afar. Put you on the streets to make the money for his car. And the circle turns and turns and turns. So sad, little girl. Oh, your pictures, they don't really do you justice anymore. For they're crumpled now and faded, and were taken long ago. And that faintly coy expression has now left without a trace. Ah, there's little of it buried in the ruins of your face. And it could have been so different, and at times you feel bad. Oh, you really did have something that the others never had. And the circle turns and turns and turns. So sad, little girl. And the circle turns and turns and turns. So sad, little girl. And the circle turns and turns, and it's too bad, little girl.
Thank you very much, Rick. Now we've said already about lust being sort of the prerogative of the dirty old men, so here is one about a real DOM called Have Some Madeira, Madeira. She was young, she was pure, she was new, she was nice. She was fair, she was sweet, 17. He was old, he was vile, and no stranger to vice. He was base, he was bad, he was mean. He had slyly inveigled her up to his flat to view his collection of stamps, all unperforated. And he said, as he hastened to put out the cat, the wine, the cigar, and the lamps, have some Madeira, Madeira. You really have nothing to fear. I'm not trying to tempt you. Oh, that wouldn't be right. You shouldn't drink spirits at this time of night. Have some Madeira, Madeira. It's really much nicer than beer. I don't care for sherry. Oh, one cannot drink stout. And port is a wine I can well do without. It's simply a case of sugar or some gout. Also have some Madeira, Madeira. Unaware of the wiles of this snake in the grass, or the fate of the maiden that topes, she lowered her standards by raising her glass, her courage, his eyes, and her hopes. She sipped it, she drank it, she drained it, she did. He quietly refilled it again. And he said, as he secretly carved one more notch on the butt of his gold-handled cane, oh, have some Madeira, Madeira. I've got a small cask of it here. Now, once it's been opened, you know it won't keep. Do finish it up. It'll help you to sleep. Oh, have some Madeira, Madeira. It's really an excellent year. Now, if it were gin, oh, you'd be wrong to say yes. The evils gin does would be hard to assess. Besides, it's inclined to affect me prowess. So have some Madeira, Madeira. Then there flashed through her mind what her mother had said, with her penultimate breath. Oh, my child, should you look on the wine when 'tis red, be prepared for a fate worse than death. She leapt to her glass with a shrill little cry. Ah! Crash tinkle, it fell to the floor. When he asked, what in heaven, she made no reply of her mind and a dash to the door. Have some, me dear, rang out down the hall loud and clear. A tremulous cry that was filled with despair as she paused to take breath in the cool midnight air. Have some, me dear. The sound seemed to ring in her ear until the next morning she woke up in bed with a smile on her lips and an ache in her head, and a beard in her ear hole that tickled and said, have some, me dear.
I don't actually like it, so you're quite all right. Right, your turn again. Are you there, Chuck and Tim? Are you there? Yes. They've got black belts in karate. If you don't sing, this one is part of your cultural heritage, so you should join in it. It's a song, various versions. It's one of the most popular chorus songs in folk clubs. It's called Pleasant and Delightful. This version comes from East Anglia, collected in Norfolk. And there is a lovely chorus. I mean, it really is good, and it allows all of you tremendous scope. Or else. Put yourself together, madam, will you? Thank you. Oh, pleasant and delightful on a bright summer's morn, when the hillside and the meadows are all covered in corn, and the blackbirds and thrushes sang on every green spray, and the larks they sang melodious at the dawning of the day, and the larks they sang melodious, and the larks they sang melodious, and the larks they sang melodious at the dawning of the day. Now a soldier and his true love were a-walking one day. Said the soldier to his true love, I am bound far away. I am bound for the East Indies, where the loud cannons roar. I must go and leave you, Nancy. You're the girl that I adore. I must go and leave you, Nancy. I must go and leave you, Nancy. I must go and leave you, Nancy. You're the girl that I adore. Now 3 sighs she gave him, saying, William, my dear, are you going for to leave me in sorrow and despair? Are you going for to leave me in sorrow to complain, till you from the Indies return back again? Till you from the Indies, louder, till you from the Indies, till you from the Indies return back again. Now a ring from her finger she instantly drew, saying, take this, dearest William, and my love go too. And as they embraced, tears from her eyes fell. She said, may I go along with you? Oh no, me love, farewell. Saying, may I go along with you? Saying, may I go along with you? Saying, may I go along with you? Oh no, me love, farewell. So farewell, lovely Nancy, I must bid you adieu. for the big ship is awaiting to gather her crew. I must sail to the broad ocean on a swift-flowing tide. But if ever I return again, I will make you your bride, my bride, your turn. And if ever I return again, and if ever I return again, and if ever I return again, I will make you my bride. Pleasant and delightful. Thank you very much.
Now, we started with a thing from Under Milk Wood, so we're going to finish with one. And this is, well, it's lust in a sort of unrequited lust, shall we say. And here we have Miss Daventry Price. You.
I am Miss Price, dressmaker and sweet shopkeeper, dreaming of my lover, tall as the town clock tower, Samson syrup, golden maned, whacking thigh and piping hot, thunderbolt base and barnacle breasted, flaying up the cockles with his eyes like blow-lamps, and scooping low over my lonely, loving, hot water-bottled body.
Daventry Price.
Mr. Mog Edwards.
I am a draper mad with love. I love you more than all the flannelette and calico, candlewick, dimity, crash and merino, trussor, creton, muslin, poplin, ticking and twill, in the whole cloth hall of the world. I've come to take you away to my emporium on the hill, where the change hums on the wires. Throw away your little bed socks and your Welsh wool knitted jacket. I will warm the sheets like an electric toaster. I will lie by your side like the Sunday roast.
I will knit you a wallet of forget-me-not blue for the money to be comfy. I will warm your heart by the fire so that you can slip it in under your vest when the shop is closed.
Daventry, before the mice snore at your bottom drawer, will you say,
Yes, Mog, yes, yes, yes.
and all the bells of the tills of the town shall ring out for our wedding?
Mother, I would marry, yes, I would be a bride. I would have a young man forever by my side. Oh, if I had a young man, how happy I would be, for I am so tired and oh so weary of singularity. Whistle, daughter, whistle, and you shall have a cow. I cannot whistle, mother dear, indeed I know not how. But if I had a young man, how happy I would be, for I am so tired and oh so weary of my propriety. Whistle, daughter, whistle, and you shall have a sheep. I cannot whistle, mother dear, I can only weep. But if I had a young man, how happy I would be, for I am so tired and oh so weary of my virginity. Whistle, daughter, whistle, and you shall have a man. You impudent young maiden, what makes you whistle now? Well, I'd rather whistle for a man than a sheep or a bloody old cow. It's a song from London, Duxie. It's all about this very unfortunate young lady who was betrayed by a sailor called Bert. Oh, woe is me, alas, alack, a tear rolls down my cheek as I tell the tale of the belle of Barking Creek. Her hair was yellow as the morning sun, except where the black shows through. And her age has been a steady 21 since 1942. And every day she wheels a barrow selling whelks and winkles by the score. And she only strays from the straight and narrow when the fleet is home in port. For a sailor boy she cannot resist, her mind and her knees grew weak. And every matterlow for miles has kissed the belle of Barking Creek. Then one fine evening when the moon was new, she stood at the garden gate, while idly wondering what to do. Poor Nellie met her fate. A great big stoker by the name of Bert came into town that day, and he said, "Cool blimey, what a piece of skirt," and carried her away. And she fried his socks and she darned his bacon, and she scarcely paused for breath. But very soon she was overtaken by a fate that is worse than death. He said, "I'm going, but I'll soon be back. I'll write to you every week." But I know darn well that Nellie Clack is up the Barking Creek.
Everybody in.
Your chance to clap your hands, make many noise.
Everybody join in. Let's go.